Hey, what is going on? So, whether you're tuning in for your home or you're on a morning walk, or maybe you're listening in your car cruising right now, I'm grateful that you're with us today. So, I'm diving into a topic that touches the very core of our human experience, keeping faith and believing in ourselves, a topic that I may not touch on very rarely, even when everything seems to be against us, myself included, right? It's about being able to find that inner strength and unwavering belief that can help guide us, even myself, through the stormiest of seas, right? Now, faith means different things to different fucking people, 1,000 times. Whatever that means to you, then hopefully this episode is something you can get out of. Or maybe you're just lost right now, and maybe this episode is definitely for you. Because believe me, I have been lost many of times. I keep finding my way back. What's up, everyone? This is Fit for Business with me, Jarod Lehn. If you could do me a favor, if you guys are watching this on YouTube for the very first time, go ahead and tap that subscribe button. Or if you're listening on Spotify for the first time, go ahead and tap that follow button as well. We appreciate the support as always. Welcome to episode 43 weeks. 43, I should say, episode 43. And for those of you who don't know, I'm the owner and founder of Socialtopia. We're a social media marketing agency based out of Monroe, New York. We've been in business for 7 years now. Our agency primarily partners with fitness entrepreneurs and as well as home service professionals. So we help them by helping to elevate their brand and achieving their overall marketing goals. In life, as we know, it is unpredictability journey, I like to say. Challenges often arise when we least expect them. They test our resolve and push us to our limits. Yet, it's during those formidable times that maintaining faith becomes a paramount. So, I hope this episode will explore how we can harness the power of belief to navigate through adversity, emerging stronger and more hopeful. So, I want to cover some stories of those, who have trumped against all odds, which I'm sure some of these people you definitely have heard of before, you know, tap into practical strategies to foster our resilience in our everyday lives. So, I want to share a personal story. When I was 21 years of age, I should say, for me, at that point, it was pretty crucial. But yeah, 21 years of age, was February. I had lost a close friend of mine to a fatal car crash. And what's very even more eerie is like that evening before, him and I were out at a club partying. Somebody drove home. We shouldn't have drove home, but we got there. You're not going to get into the details. But that's just how life was back for us. Got home safe. Everybody went to work the next morning. And on his way home from work, it's, it's still hard to talk about. Life seemed for me very unfair at that stage in the game. Not to mention 6 months prior to that, I've said it before, for those of you who don't know, I lost my mother when in the summer of July previously. So I was in a very dark place to begin with. And, going out, hanging out, and doing some things I should have been doing along the way. For me, the road seemed very daunting and the odds were stacked against me. Somehow, through it all, I always had a glimmer of hope and a belief that there was a light at the end of the tunnel. And again, it was a shape form of, you would call, faith that propelled me forward, helping me find solutions and putting me in touch with people that I needed to be with, and to help strengthen, which I never knew I guess I possessed, I guess you could say. So just to reflect on a powerful thought, right, that helps guide us. Faith is seeing light when all your eyes sees is darkness. That's a deep quote. I think that quote really what it does, or it encapsulates like what the essence of what it means to believe beyond the visible, right? To trust in the potential for a brighter tomorrow. So I guess just sit back, continue to relax on this journey as I continue to talk about how we can keep that alive, that hope when things seem pessimistic, or you're pessimistic maybe, and when the world seems to conspire against us. There are a lot of people that think the world does conspire against them. I know a lot of people, even myself, I have thought at times that the world was out to get me. Things were just unjust, unfair. Why does this happen to me? Why did that happen? In most cases, it was myself putting myself in situations when, yeah, the conspirers, nobody's out to get you, first and foremost. There's going to be shit that happens to you. It is just part of life and your journey. In the face of adversity, faith, what I think, is often unseen force that can propel and move you forward. But what does that exactly mean, right? When we're confronted with life's challenges. At its core, faith is the unwavering belief, I feel, in something greater than just us, ourselves. A trust that there is a path through the darkness, even when it's not visible. It's the inner conviction that sustains us when everything else seems to falter, right? I think faith isn't all about having the answers. It's about the belief or believing in the possibility for a brighter outcome, regardless of the present circumstances. So the psychological, emotional benefits, of maintaining faith during tough times are profound, right? It provides a sense of hope and purpose, acting almost as a buffer against stress and despair. It can really instill a sense of calm and resilience, helping people alike navigate turbulent waters with a clear mind and courageous heart, right? By fostering a positive outlook, faith can reduce anxiety and depression, I was saying. I think offering a mental and emotional anchor in the storm, right? So emotional anchors, I think, are really key. An emotional anchor could be, today's pen pal, right? Like talking to somebody on Facebook or Instagram or, even TikTok Messenger, somebody that you've grown close with. And I know some people will say social media is not real. And maybe it's not, but maybe it is. Maybe that's the only connection that some people have. And if you have somebody that you're able to communicate with, then use them as an anchor. But there is a give and take in any relationship. And then, in the flesh, in person, maybe you have a significant other, you have a friend, you have a relative, a mom, a dad, an aunt, an uncle, a sister, a brother, and so forth, or a coworker that you become friends with. These people could be anchors in your storms to hear you, right? So not to go through a rant of history, but there have been countless examples of faith playing a vital role in overcoming adversity, right? So, to go down the rabbit hole here, one of the most inspirational stories that I know of is like Helen Keller, right? We all know who Helen Keller was. Despite losing her sight and hearing at a young age, she went on to become an influential author, speaker, and advocate for people with disabilities, right? Her faith in just herself and the possibilities of life, despite her limitations, really allowed her to transcend her circumstances and make a profound impact on the world. On a side note, what's really cool, where I live in the town, there is a Helen Keller building here, which is pretty cool. So let's also consider some other history. Nelson Mandela. Hopefully, you all know who Nelson Mandela is. If you don't, we're living under a rock. For 27 years, he was spent in prison unjustly wrong. Yet he emerged as a symbol of hope and reconciliation. He had faith, and in his justice and human dignity, they never wavered, ultimately leading to the dismantling of an apartheid South America. That is huge. Having faith for being unjustly behind bars for 27 years. It's a long time to have just faith on his shoulder, but it played out for him. As I reflect here of these stories of perseverance and belief, I want to consider the words of the great Mr. King, Martin Luther King, right? He aptly said, faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. That's fucking deep. That is a powerful quote that I think can remind us that faith is about action despite uncertainty and trusting that each other will take a step forward and then it will reveal the next guiding us toward our ultimate goals, right? So whether the challenge is personal or universal, I can't talk, faith empowers us to keep moving forward, right? Even when that path is not yet clear, right? In challenging times, cultivating and strengthening faith could be a beacon of hope and resilience, right? So I think one of the most effective ways to nurture faith is really by maintaining a positive mindset, right? Even when the odds are stacked against us, stacked against you, stacked against me. Be constantly reframing negative thoughts. Instead, focus on what could go wrong, right? Shift your perspective to what you can go and do right. Emphasize gratitude for today, the present, and hope for the future, right? Allowing these sentiments to guide you through your outlook. And you guys really have to recognize the importance of community, like I was saying, and support networks. Surround yourself, guys, with individuals who are just going to uplift and encourage you, and seek out groups or communities, right? Seek out groups or communities to help share your values and your aspirations. Going deep down the rabbit hole, man. Engage with others who are maybe on a similar journey with you, right? There is that thing though, commiserate, right? I'm not saying you should do that. There are people that are just unhappy and unwavering. So commisery is like when somebody is depressed, somebody's having a bad day, and they kind of get together and all they do is are negative. That's not what I'm saying. You want to try and like, all right, so maybe you're having a negative time, things are going wrong. Try and find somebody that's going to have more positive outlook on you, right? Somebody that's going to kind of get you more upbeat and going, right? You need that reassurance and motivation just to remind you that you're not alone in your struggles, right? So by fostering these connections, right, and just sharing these experiences, you can draw strength from just essentially collective wisdom and support, right? Just further solidifying these things or your faith in navigating these life challenges, right? So, as we continue, just keep on believing when the odds are just stacked against you, and just, let's take what we've learned in this episode, right? And remember, faith is more than just a concept. It's a powerful ally that can help you navigate uncertainty and overcome these obstacles. I think it's quite confidence, right? It's a confidence that whispers to us in the darkest moments, urging us to take the next step, even when the path is unseen or isn't clear. So as you move forward, hold on to this faith, whatever it may be, and your unwavering determination, knowing that it really has the power to illuminate your way forward. So, thank you guys for joining me on this episode. And as Billy Idol will say, hopefully you kids know who Billy Idol is. You just got to have faith.